Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chan. I think this calls for a drink. Let's get into Caresha Please. Baby, she's telling her story tonight. Let's go. So Caresha is talking to her best friend, Saucy Santana, and she says she wants to talk about it on her season 2 of Caresha Please, and she feels like this is a safe space, so she's ready to talk. Let's get into it. P.S. I love Saucy. So Saucy said he doesn't think that Caresha addresses everything, right? She talks to her friends, him, and her family. But today, get it all on the floor, address all of it, and get it over with. So when he asked her where is she with her kids, her career, businesses, and things like that, she says she's all over the place. And she feels like everybody goes through this. Like it's either a divorce, a breakup, or something like that. And then she started crying. So she said one day she's crying, one day she's laughing, one day she's like, forget all of this. And she says she looks at her children and she realizes she hasn't come this far to stop. And she works really hard. She said that she realizes that she has to go through something to get somewhere. And what really keeps her going is that she realizes people go through stuff every day, like losses, and they lose their jobs, they lose their family. She said that the biggest surprise was that there were people who were not in her corner. She was like, people didn't call her, people didn't check on her. And when everything started happening with Diddy, people were like, aha, like, see what you got. And that can be disheartening, right? Especially from people that you feel like are your friends. So Santana asked her, like, why do you think that every time somebody said something about Diddy, you were so involved with it? She said that because people thought that she was Diddy's biggest cheerleader and that he was her brand, right? But she said, I never thought I was bigger than the program. And she also said that she was still doing City Girl stuff. And when the song Act Bad came about, she wanted JT to get on the song. But she said she never thought that she was bigger than the program. So then Santana asked her, like, how was it dating him? Because there was a lot of chaos around it. She said, well, she met Diddy in the love era, right? She met him at a party. She was just celebrating him like the world was celebrating him. He had gotten awards. People were giving him his flowers. The Love album had come out. But she said that people wanted to crucify her and they made it look like she was his cheerleader. But she was just celebrating Diddy with the world. So she was like, when she met Diddy, she just met a man, right? She said she also wanted to know why was he trying to holler at her, because she's a city girl and she owns some different stuff, like the lyrics in her music. And she said he wanted to communicate, he wanted to have solutions, he wanted to talk. And she said they were just in a relationship, like he was just a man to her. So Santana was asking her, like, with everything that had come out, all these allegations, like, why didn't you speak? Caresha said she couldn't speak on something she doesn't know. That was not her experience with Diddy. She wasn't around when all that stuff was happening. She was like, that's not the man that she knew, so she can't speak on it. So she said her relationship with Diddy was beneficial, she thinks, for both of them. Because before her, nobody was drinking Deleon, and then she's taking it from nobody drinking it to it's in music videos and it's the summer drink, right? And she said he saw something in her and he said, you have a big personality, you should do a podcast. She said, so she feels like she came into his world and she turned it up a notch, and he was definitely like beneficial for her because she was like, she didn't just want to purse or get her body done. She said she wanted to learn under a mogul. So she also said she did not know if it was a relationship where he liked her or if it was business, but she said she was going to learn something. And she met him at P's party, so, okay. So she said she learned a lot, right? She realized that for her brand and for her business, she should get a business manager. She should get a chief of staff. I wonder, does she still have those people in place, though? So now the question is about JT. Where are they as sisters, as city girls? She said it's not all good and it's not all bad. They don't talk every day. She was like, but when things happen and it goes to the internet, she feels like that's a moment when someone is trying to get someone to pick sides, because that's something they can handle by themselves. I really and truly hate that these ladies have fallen out from that, because they need each other. They really do need each other. But we can all surmise as to why that happened. she said she still considers JT to be her sister, right? It's not all good, it's not all bad. But she said they just grew apart. They were having different glam teams, showing up in different cars, different dressing rooms. And she said the most time they spent together is when they were on tour on stage. And she was like, it was just growing apart. They were just different. They dressed different. And I think a piece that Caresha is missing in this is that maybe Diddy was in the picture at that time, because she changed drastically, right? Because the City Girls were a unit, and all of a sudden they weren't a unit. So it had to be something that will pull them apart. And I feel like what she left out of this particular segment was it was Diddy. So then they got into the tweets, and it was a moment when JT was going back and forth with Cardi, and she tweeted Caresha that I just woke up. And she said that it would never be a time when she would not come to her defense, because Saucy was like, people felt like you were on mute and you didn't defend her. She said she will always defend her. But they were talking about a remix with Nicki, the Freaky Girl, and she said she was left off of like Bad and Bougie and whatever. She said it didn't have anything to do with her, so she didn't feel like she needed to insert herself. And she's correct. So the last question for the smoke was, is she still dating Diddy? And she took like a silent moment, and she said no. She said he was really good to her. He brought out a softer side of her. He said that she was more than music. She made her see things in herself that he saw things in her that she had never seen in herself. And she was like, with everything that he was going through, she said she didn't know about that. She wasn't with him at that time, but she said she just couldn't be a part of that. So she had to distance herself from him, focus on her career and her family. She said, but he was really good to her, and he taught her a lot. And you can tell she's hurt by it. And she said they fell in love with each other. And I know that's hard for her. So Saucy has made me cry. You know, he said he's giving Caresha her flowers and how strong she is, how she went through all of this, right? And he said that, you know, she had to still be a mother to her children and still try to get her career off the ground. And she said, I wanted to thank you, Saucy, because she said without him, she doesn't know where she would be. And I'm so glad that he was still here for her. She said that she had never had a pain like this before, and it was heartbreaking that people that she thought would be in her corner were like, aha, you thought you had him. She was like, I never thought anything like that. She was like, I was doing what I needed to do in this relationship, and he was doing what he needed to do. Because she said, what would be the sense of me just going to Chanel when I could really learn something? And she said Puffy put her in position with this Caresha Please, and she still has this podcast without him. And that is good. Caresha said she invested in herself. She's still in studio. She's still trying to get it done. She said when people were trying to tell her what she couldn't do, she was like, people told me I couldn't rap. But she did anyway, right? So this is really Caresha trying to come back. She said she always felt like she was an underdog, and people always counted her out. Wow, Caresha is really broken, y'all. She said she just doesn't feel like she has a personality anymore, and it really hurts. She said before she could go on live and she could do things now, but she said people are so literal. And she was on live with Santana the other day, and she was like, I got to get off my live, because she said she has lost herself. That's exactly what happened when she got with Diddy, because she had a different persona. Like when she was City Girls out here living wild and free, people loved that because she was being herself. But when she got with Puffy, she was a little bit more silent. So now, without him, with everything going on, with people talking about her, she feels a little insecure about who she is. That is so sad. Yeah, I love Santana because he's always going to give me one. So Caresha is having out Caresha Roulette Part 2. That's what's coming up. The podcast season 2 and a reality show. So they're getting ready to play Russian Roulette 2, and he's reading the card. She's answered. Now it's her turn to read a card to him. So he has the cards, and she's like, give me the cards. And he said, I can't, this jacket too tight. But at the end of it, she thanked him for being there for her. She doesn't know where she would be without him. And I love Caresha and Santana, and I just wish her nothing but happiness and blessings. Let me know what you think about it. It's your girl, Millie Chan. Bye, y'all.